What does it mean? What does it mean?
Okay, so Elon Musk just purchased 9.2% of Twitter, making him the single largest shareholder in the company. And if you were wondering, that's almost 5 times as much ownership as the former CEO and founder of Twitter, Jack Dorsey. By looking at the news, you will keep seeing that it was filed via 13G or 13D. Now, what exactly does that mean? These filings basically just tell us any time that a person or an entity acquires at least 5% or more ownership in a company. And by looking at these filings, we could actually see that Elon Musk bought these shares about 2 weeks ago on March 14th when the market dipped very heavily. And if you factor in when he purchased those shares on March 14th to today, his shares have actually appreciated about $1 billion. So it took him about 2 weeks to make $1 billion. To put that into perspective for the rest of us, if you made $1,000 every single day and you worked 7 days a week with no weekends off, that would mean it would take you 2,976 years to make that same amount of money before taxes. And do you guys want to guess what Elon Musk's first tweet was since all of this news went public? So the main question on everyone's mind that I see in the news or in some people on Twitter speculating, why did he do it? And don't get me wrong, my father can be a little bit crazy at times, and sometimes people don't understand him, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I know any more than you do, but I'm going to show some insights and some speculations I have about why he might have done this. Now, the first question on everybody's minds is, why would he do this? Why would Elon Musk actually buy almost 10% stake of Twitter? And while nobody claims to actually know what is going on inside his head and why he's actually doing this, we all can speculate, and I have a few things that I'd like to bring up in this video today that might shed some light. The first thing we can address is, what is Elon Musk's actual purpose in life? What does he care about more than anything else in the world? So I think that he has about 3 main things that he cares about most in life. The first 2 are fairly obvious by looking at 2 of his companies. Tesla Motors' mission statement has actually always been the same: accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. And SpaceX's mission has always been to make life a multiplanetary species. So he has one company that's dedicated to saving Earth and a second company that's dedicated to saving life after Earth. The third purpose seems a little bit more hidden, and if you don't follow him very closely or follow on Twitter, you might not realize this. But by looking back in history at Elon Musk's tweets, you can see that free speech has been one of the most common things that he actually writes about. And if you spent enough time on Twitter, you can see that there is a big debate on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in free speech. And Elon Musk believes that no matter what your opinion is or where you're from, you should be able to speak your mind regardless of what other people think about it. He often refers to Twitter as a public square, a place where discourse can take place and opinions can be changed. And if you look as recent as the last month, you can see that he's taken a lot more of an active role in trying to make sure that free speech is advocated on the Twitter platform. And while some people say he should just create his own platform, he views Twitter as a way more important space that most people underappreciate. Just given the recent events that have happened in the last few months, look at how Twitter has completely connected the entire world. So we're talking about a guy who some people view as a humanitarian, somebody who wants sustainable life on Earth, and wants sustainable life after Earth on Mars. So it's no stretch of my imagination to say that he is a free speech absolutist, which is what he calls himself. So he believes if you're going to have a platform as powerful as Twitter, it should be based on the fundamentals that free speech is absolute. But then this all goes back to, what can he actually do if he only owns 9.2% of the company? So you guys have probably already heard the term passive stake, and you're wondering, what does that actually mean? The best example of a passive stake would just be like me and you buying a share of a company that we like. It gives us common folk the ability to buy a very small percentage of a company without having the power or the right to change the actual company fundamentally. Just like some of those memes that you see when you buy 1/100th of a share and you think you're about to be CEO within a week. So with a 9.2% stake in the company making him the single largest shareholder, you get a little bit of power. So with his purchase being classified under a passive stake, Thomas Hayes and Dan Ives believe that that will become an active stake very, very soon.
Managing Director and Senior Equity Analyst. Dan, it's good to see you. I mean, what does it mean? Like when Elon Musk reports a passive stake, does that mean he's not going to chime in at all? I mean, to expect Elon Musk to be quiet on a company that he's taken this size of a stake in, that seems a little unrealistic, doesn't it?
Look, this is just the appetizer. I mean, ultimately, we believe that he will have an active stake, probably over the coming weeks or months. And this is just the start of, I think, a broader strategic focus of Twitter, whether it's, changing the slate, changing the management team, or ultimately a buyout. So just to be clear, I mean, this is just the start.
An active stake just means now you are taking an active role in maybe trying to change or help the company internally. So while recording this video, I just saw that the current CEO of Twitter just appointed Elon Musk a member of the board. So remember how we were just talking about a passive stake becoming an active stake very soon? So what does this mean? So as a board member, you're taken a lot more seriously, and a lot of your ideas could actually come into fruition for the company. So while we don't have all the details yet, it surely is going to be pretty exciting to see what happens in the next few days. So this doesn't necessarily mean Elon's going to buy the entire company. It doesn't mean Twitter's going to change the way you know it. It doesn't even mean you have to like Elon Musk. But it does mean that it seems like free speech has been taken a little bit more seriously in the recent months. And I think that we could all agree that freedom is the most important thing above all. And actually, some of the people that I follow in the Tesla community, namely one, Farzad Mesbahi, shout out to him, creates great videos, he states that he thinks Twitter might actually be the connector between Earth and Mars. So I know this video was a lot of speculation, but I hope you learned a little bit something about passive and active stake investing and what this actually means for the future of Twitter. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one.